Hi everyone, and welcome to our next GL assessment homework review video. You will have noticed that for this week, for week 5, we've actually got quite a bit of verbal reasoning. There's certainly quite a few question types that we needed to cover off in this block, so we've actually sort of doubled up on the verbal reasoning, hence why we've got another video to go through some tasks in the Let's book. So you're probably in year 5 if you're watching this, and this of course is block 5, week 5. So let's just bring up the slides. So this is just clarification of what we're going to be covering off today. So we are looking at week 5 tasks. You will need your Let's book, and hopefully you've completed your homework already, and you'll be able to work down through this video, and hopefully it'll give you an idea of what those answers were. So let's have a little look at the week that we're referring to, or the task that we're looking at. So I'm actually going to be going down through word combinations, which are more commonly known as compound words. Going to be looking at test 38 and 58, so we're going to be covering off that one. We're also going to look at test 39 and 59, which are words with a double meaning, with a dual meaning. And we're also going to focus on test 40 and 60, which are related numbers. So we've got quite a lot that we're going to be focusing on here, and we're going to go down through all of the you must tasks. So let's begin. So let's first of all look at test 38 in your books. So if I just make sure that I give you the page number as well, so you can refer to it. So we're actually going to be focusing on page 43 in your book. So I'll just write that down there just to help you find it quickly. And we're going to be looking at word combinations. I hope you are timing yourself for these different activities. For this particular one, it allowed you 6 minutes to work down through. So let's have a little look at what we've got to do. We've got 3 words at the top, 3 words underneath. You're only going to choose 1 word from the top, so from this first section, and you're going to take 1 word from the bottom. And it should make a new word. Remember, the word shouldn't be hyphenated, so it's not like ice cream or head off. You just must make sure that those 2 words come together to form 1 word, 1 new word. So let's have a little look and see how you got on with these. So let's look at the first 5. So we've got ascent, is your first compound word. Then we've got cupboard, so cup and board. Solid, so and lid. Centrally, that's not such an easy one, so cent and rally. And then we've got beam, we've got be and then am together. So as you go down through, do please tick them off. If you didn't realise they were compound words, or you got it wrong, then obviously write those words in your word and meaning book. Maybe you could come up with a little code, so you could do compound word, you could just do CW and just maybe write that next to the compound word, just to add a little bit of variety to your word and meaning book. Let's have a look at the next 5. We've got carrot, so car and rot go together and make carrot as the compound word. Then we've got primate. Then we've got theme. Sometimes they can be quite short. So again, if I just go down and underline the words where they've come from. So prim and 8. And then we've got the and me. And then chestnut. And just in case you didn't know what a chestnut looks like, I've got a nice picture there of some chestnuts. Chestnut can also be a colour for a pony as well, a chestnut pony. So we've got chest and nut. And then the last one on this particular page is has and 10, and it spells hasten, to move quickly. So well done on those compound words, particularly well done if you manage to get all 10 of them. You can easily just record your score. There is a little score box as well on your page down in the bottom right hand corner, so you can always write your mark there. Let's move on to the next set of word combinations, and this actually falls on test 58, so it's towards the end of your book, and you need to be on page 64. So I can ask you to be on page 64 for this particular task, and then what we'll do is we'll go down through these. So let's have a little look. What have we got? We've got head and dress, so it's taking he and address. If you put those together, you make headdress. Then we've got newsprint, so new and sprint. Novice, know and vice. Off and ice. Sometimes they'll often put in the word of to try and catch you out. So just sometimes even writing it in the space. So if you were to write off and ice together, you would see, ah, yes, it spells office. So don't be scared of writing it down. And certainly in your question booklet, in your exam, you can do that. Pageant, page and ant. So that's the 5th one there. Let's come down to the next ones. We've got peppermint. Berate. Now, if you didn't know what berate means, that means to scold. So again, a very good one to put in your word and meaning book if that was a new word for you. Then we've got deter and mine for determine. Hatred for hat and red. I will just underline these because it's quite important. You can see which 2 words have been put together. There we go. And then the last one is mistrust. So we've got mist and then rust going together. So those are the 2 separate words. Guys, I hope you've done well with compound words. Compound words are always a case of learning more, and if you can create nice separate lists at home to build up your knowledge of compound words, we would do that. If you ever want to play a little game with it, sometimes it can be quite nice to have 2 cards, for example, or 2 bits of paper. It can be quite simple to put together. And then if you were to, for example, if I was to put B on this one and then rate here, and then what you can do is you can make lots of these and then muddle them up, turn them over, and then just play a little matching game, see who gets the most. That can be really good fun. Okay, let's move on to double meanings. These double meanings now, the first double meaning one, you need to go to 39. And if you go to page 39, that will, or test 39, that is on page 44. So if I can ask you to go there. So if you haven't done it yet, then obviously pause the video, work through them, and then you'll be able to mark them afterwards. So let's have a little look and see. Now the important thing here with the double meaning questions is ensuring that you know your word groups as well as the words. Now I appreciate these are quite difficult, particularly as you didn't have any multiple choice options. So let's just look at the example again. So we've got signify and symbolise. Well, that can mean something, but if you're unkind or nasty, that can also be mean. So you're looking for one word that has a dual meaning and that it should go with both pairs. It's no good at just going with one. So let's have a look at number 1 first of all. And we've got dash. Now you do need to remember your word group. So we're just going to do a little code here. So dash can be the verb, like to rush or race. And it can also be used as a noun, like a line or a hyphen, a dash. So I'm going to do that in red. So we could also make that a noun. Then let's have a look at the next one. Mine can be a quarry or a pit. So that could be the noun. But you can also have my or own can be mine, and that's a pronoun. So let's create another colour for that one. So let's do PRO, so we know it's a pronoun. So knowing your word groups is super important here, and making sure the word you've chosen, the word you've written down, goes with both pairs. Number 3, we can have stable as in the adjective. So let's choose a different colour for that. Let's go with blue. But we can also have the stable as in the noun. So this could be a stall or a shed. Obviously a stable is where a horse is often put inside a stable. So that's a noun. Then we've got number 4, we've got incline. Now incline can be a noun, so like a slope or a gradient. But incline can also be used as a verb. So if we put that one in as a verb as well. So I do really ask you to make sure that you know both your word groups. So predispose or tend can be inclined to do something. Okay, so please do make sure that you learn not only the meanings of these words, but what groups they belong to as well. And then we've got entrance. So that can be a verb. And that could be to mesmerise or charm, but also a doorway or an opening. Of course, that would be a noun. So again, hopefully you've done really well on these, so you can go down through, obviously tick them off, check them, but I would also ask you just to double check that you know your word groups as well. Let's have a look at number 6, and we've got rear, or rear can be, what colour did we do? I think we did green for verb, and also it can be a noun, so we'll just make sure that it's a noun. So I'll double check that I did the right code here. That's correct, yeah. So we're going to do green for verb, red for noun. And then we've got to desert someone, to leave them and to abandon them. Not to be confused, of course, with dessert as in the food dessert, which would have 2 S's, like after your main course. Wilderness and wasteland is also a desert. So we've got both the verb and we've also got it as a noun again. Okay. Number 8, we've got crack. Well, crack can be a verb, to crack. And also you've got as well as decode and decipher. So in actual fact, it's just a verb both times. Number 9, we've got beam. Now a beam can be a noun. Like a beam that you might have, like a ray or a stream, a beam. And then if you grin or you smile, so that could be a verb. So to beam, to smile. Number 10 here, we've got intrigue, and intrigue can be a verb. And intrigue can also be a noun as well. So that's the sort of common theme, isn't it, all the way through? They can be both verbs and nouns. So intrigue being a synonym of interest and fascinate as the verb, but also intrigue as in a synonym of plot and scheme. So, guys, I hope you've done really well on those. And let's move on to the next set. So just do set down your score as well so you know how well you've done. Let's go and have a look at the next double meanings. Now these are actually on test 59, so make sure you're very near the end of your book now, but I will just tell you what page you need to be on, and that is page 65. As you can see, you're doing incredibly well because you're getting through most of this book now. There's not a lot of it left at all. So let's have a little look at what we've got here. So again, it's really important that you know your word groups, so we'll do exactly what we did earlier. So we're going to have adjective for content. So this means to be happy and pleased, but it also can be when it's used in the context of subject and matter, then it will also work as a noun as well. Let's have a look at number 2. We've got decline and reject, so that's refusing something. So if you decline or reject it, and that would be a verb. And then you've got refuse, as in a synonym for waste and rubbish, so that makes it also a noun as well. Make sure I get the right colours for you. And then we've got number 3, we've got contemporary and present, so current, it's currently happening, and then flow and stream. So we've got an adjective to describe contemporary and present, so we need to go back to blue again. But it also can be a noun as well, so we'll make sure we've got the N, but it does go with both sets of words. Number 4, we've got hamper, so you can hamper someone as in a basket or a pannier. Now, if you didn't know what a pannier was, a pannier is one of those bags that goes onto a back of a bike. So I've just got a picture here so you can see those bags that sit on the back. I refer to as a pannier, and it's like a basket. So that goes as the noun. But hamper can also be the verb, and that means to impede or hinder. If you hamper someone, you kind of put them off doing something. So that could be to hamper someone is the verb. Number 5, we've got spoke, so that can be the noun. Now, interesting, we've got a picture of a bike here, so these are the spokes here. So these are all the bit, and they all go to the centre, and they sort of keep the wheel together. Spokes. Sometimes people put reflectors and things on spokes. So spokes can be a noun, and it also can be as a past verb. So in a synonym of said or talked. So, sorry, I've done the wrong colour there. I'm just confusing you. So let's just make that a noun, and we'll also go with a verb as well. Right, let's go on to the next 5 here. So we've got plaza, marketplace, quadrilateral and oblong. Of course, that can be a square. So a square can be obviously a noun in both sort of contexts here. So if we just put down a noun there, so it's both for the marketplace and for the quadrilateral. 7, we've got charge, as in a synonym of cost or a fee. So that can be a noun. But we could also use it as a verb. So if you used it as in attack or storm, to charge, that can also be a verb. So it goes with both sets there. Point. Now we can have point as the noun, but we can also have point as a verb. So to aim or direct would be the verb. But the tip or the end, that would be the noun. Number 9, we've got view here is the answer, and view can be a noun. The view, the vista, or And we can also have view as a verb as well. So to view something, to inspect or survey. So panorama and vista is the noun, and then inspect or survey is the verb. Well done if you've got them right so far. And the last one, sharp, of course, can be an adjective. You can describe something as being sharp, but it can also be, an actual fact, it is in both contexts here, isn't it? Of course, it's used as an adjective in both ways because you've got shrewd and intelligent. So sometimes it will be the same word group for both sets of words, and it is in that context. Guys, well done. I hope you've done really well on those. So do give yourself another score out of 10. If you've got any wrong, maybe it's because you didn't know the word or you couldn't think of a word that meant the same of both, which I know is challenging without the multiple choice sheet, but it might have been that you weren't quite aware that this word had was belonging to 2 or possibly even more word groups than that. So you've hopefully gone down and you've ticked off the ones you've got right. Any you've got wrong, just put a dot and you can easily review them then. Right, we're now going to have a look at related numbers. These are good fun to try and work out. The idea behind them is you've got 2 codes that you need to break, and then you need to work out your third pair. So in this instance, this is quite simple. You've got 9 take away 2 gives you 7, so it gives you the number in the middle. So we're using the 2 numbers on the outside to make the number in the middle. Now, one thing I will just point out here is sometimes we can link this sort of algebraically. So if we were to make this A and this B, what would we have been doing to work out the middle number? Well, what we can say is B take away A gives you the middle number. So the middle number you could make C if you want. So you will see the answers are presented to you algebraically. So what we've done is we've labelled A and B to show you how to make that number in the middle. So the important thing is once you've done that, you need to make sure that it applies over here as well. So let's label A and B. Does this work here as well? Well, it does, of course, because if we do B, take away A, then we obviously make 3 in the middle, or if you like, C. Okay, so we apply that over here then. So how are we going to get our answer? We're going to get 14, and we're going to take it away from 6, and that should make the number in the middle. And of course it does. It makes 8 rather, and you've got, so that's C. So it's just double checking that it works on both sets of numbers to make then apply those same rules to your third pair. So guys, I'm sure you'll be really, really good at these. These, first of all, start on test 40. And again, if I just clarify to you what page number that is. So test 40 is page number 45. So if you can find page 45, hopefully you've done them already. So what I'm going to do is I'll just reveal the answers to you. I would like you to have a look at the algebra on the side, but then you can go down through and you can check. So I'll just check some of them with you. So if we look at this first one, what do we have to do? Well, it's A divided by B. So remember, this is A, this is B. Okay, so we're going to need to divide those 2 numbers, and then we need to subtract 1. So sometimes there will be 2 steps that you need to do. So if we do 45 divided by 5, of course we get 9, but then we need to take 1 away to get the middle number. So sometimes it is a double operation. Just double check this one. 72 divided by 8, of course, gives me 9. And then if I take away 1, then I get 8 again. It's unusual sometimes that you get the same number in the middle, but it just happens that they've done that here. And then on R1, if we do 39, then divided by 3, well, of course, we get 13. And then what we do is we take 1 away to give us 12. So the answer is 12. Now, if you just double check, if you're unsure about how to make the number in the middle, then just refer to the algebra on the side, and that will explain exactly what you do. So 12, then we've got 24, 120, 44, and then 3. But if there's any doubt and you're not sure, look at the algebra. So in this one, and again, if you want to label A and B, because it just sort of helps you think about what you're doing. So this one, for example, we're doing 3B, so we need to times this by 3, and then we're going to be taking A away. So again, really look at different possibilities. Remember, you're going to use 4 operations, but you could also use squared and cube. So you could cube one side or square one side and possibly add it to the other side. There's lots of different options, but usually the rule is if the number is smaller in the middle, then of course we've had to have used take away or divide. If the number's bigger in the middle, we've had to use times or plus or cubed or squared. So that's usually a golden rule that will help you out. So those are the first 5. Let's have a look at the next ones. So we've got 86. I'll just do it in green again just to make it clearer. 86 for number 6. 169. That's an example there of a squared one, because if you do 13 times 13, that's what you get. If you get 8 take away 5, then you're going to get 13. Take 13 times 13 gives you 169. Okay, so just in regards to that, you're going to have, so we're going to add them together. So 5 add 8 is 13, and then we're going to square 13. 13 times 13 is 169. 38, 2a plus b, 128. That's 8a squared plus b squared. So if we were just to square those, of course we get 4 here, then we get 144. That's 12 12s. Add them together, and then you get 148. It's all about, often with these, knowing your times tables really well as well. 19, so that was b take away a, and then divide by 2. So we're going to have a look at the last section. So let's go and see where we need to go here. We now need to go to test 60. So if we look at test 60, that will be on page 66, and this is a lovely one to do because it's actually the last test in your book. So you can give yourselves a real big pat on the back because you've got to the end of your book theoretically with this one. Let's have a little look at what we've got. So we've got a times b plus 3 is 91. 19, that was a plus b. So again, if you wanted to label them a and b, that might just help you work things out. And then it's take away 10, but you must do the brackets, of course, first. 32, 145, and then 16. This one was a little bit more challenging because if we make that a and make that b, we actually had to halve a. So in half a we get 11, and then we subtract b, and that will get us the middle number. So sometimes a bit of trial and error, and as I said earlier, the number is smaller in the middle. And it is important then that you use subtraction or divide at some point. And the last ones, we've got 7, 88, 41, 36 and 64. And if you want to check the algebra on the side, you can, and that will give you an indication of how to arrive at the answer. But if any doubt, double check the algebra, label up the numbers either side of the number in brackets, and then you can work out what the answer was. But hopefully you've done well with those. They do take a bit of trial and error, but well done if you've managed to get lots of those right. You can record down your mark out of 10. Brilliant. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you found it useful, and we look forward to seeing you in your next live lesson. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.